That'll be for 9th place. Meanwhile, the leader is in heavy traffic. Jimmy Johnson has just lapped a couple cars, and now he's coming up on Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, and he's got to keep pushing it because he's got Carl Edwards breathing down his back bumper there. So he's got to keep going. He can't take too much time or get by these guys.
Now those 3 cars, Mike and Rusty Wallace, were running with Jimmy Spencer side by side a lap ago. So fortunately for the leaders, they've gone single file. But as Jimmy Johnson has to pick his way through, Carl Edwards ready to pounce.
Carl Edwards, the 99 car, his car is so strong, exactly where his Busch car was. Watch him turn it to the bottom, almost on the white line, and right there he's able to pick that throttle up and drive off the corner, all the way around the bottom.
I don't believe any driver has ever won the Busch and the Cup race at Atlanta on the same weekend. Yet. We listened in on Carl Edwards.
Carl not saying much.
Make the free on the throttle. Needs to be addressed if we're going to take air out. I think I can go fast if it's much freer on the throttle, is what I'm saying.
So what that means is when he's got the wheels turned to the left and he's back in the gas, the front end's not digging quite enough for him. He'd like to get that front end down in the racetrack a little bit more.
But what they have to be careful, they don't want to get him loose. We've been seeing how cars that are loose are going backwards.
38 laps complete in the Golden Corral 500. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
The leader, the first lead change, last week's winner, Jimmy Johnson, keeping his streak alive in every race this season, having a lead. Johnson getting past pole sitter Ryan Newman, who led the first 5 laps.
Right now we got, sitting right there. That's Joe Nemechek's son. It looks like John Hunter right there. He's keeping a close watch on his dad, timing him.
Future crew chief, we should say, for the U.S. Army. I want it with Jimmy Johnson. Again, Chad Knaus, crew chief, is here in the pits while he is appealing that 2-race suspension.
Yes, he can be here while they're going through appeal. But after Tuesday, there'll be some decisions made by the committee that will review everything, and we'll have a better understanding whether or not they're going to adjust this ruling or not. Every second, look right there, as Chad right there sitting on top of the pit box just like he was yesterday. He was part of the Busch race also, watching his driver lead this race right now. Looks like the car is still working really well, and as Jimmy pointed out at the beginning of the day, they would love to be able to go ahead and win this race, go through the post-race inspection, and be able to say, look guys, see, we won the race. We didn't have to have anything go wrong. It was a mechanical problem.
All right, Mike, Joy, what happened to the 20 car?
That's a good question. As his teammate Bobby Labonte returns to the track after lap 1 crash damage, Tony Stewart is falling through this field like a rock. His last lap, 32.90. That's 0.8 of a second slower than the leaders, and he's lost about 7 positions over the last 3 or 4 laps.
Something's wrong with 97 over here in turn 4. He's coming to pit road. It's wobbling a little bit like it may have a flat tire. Matt.
DW, that's exactly what he's saying on the radio. Right front, possibly down on the 97. Dodged a huge bullet with that crash at the opening of the race, making his way back up through the field to the top 10. The Sharpie guy's on the wall waiting for him to pull to a stop. Scott Ragel, the jackman, dives around the right side. They pull off. You can see the tire is cut down, the inner liner held up. As they come around and hit the lugs on the left side. We told you earlier, this was the only place in the chase that he did not score a top 10 finish last year, and he's away.
It almost looked like he had made contact with someone with that right front tire as he came down pit road. It had the Goodyear rubbed off of it.
Well, we've got great cameras and replays producers who found us this.
Let's see. This is Joe Nemechek. He's caught.
He was battling Joe for fifth position.
Place. Oh, he didn't make any contact with anything. He just lost it the tire right there.
It was awfully lucky where that happened and he didn't get up in trouble. But let me tell you where his luck may be with him as well, is we're only about 8 to 10 laps from that scheduled green flag pit stop. What they really want, they need this thing so bad, is to run through the course of green flag stops. And you know what? The way he was going with those 4 fresh tires, he probably will be leading this race.
Well, you know what? I looked up in the dictionary, lucky, and it said Kurt Busch.
We talk about comers and goers, Darrell, and at this place, A great example is Tony Stewart. He fell like a stone. Well, he's ratcheted himself back up. He's back up in the top 20, and now his lap times are only 0.3 off of the leader. So, Dick, what was wrong, if anything?
Well, quite a bit has been wrong. Early on in the race, Mike, he said that the car was tight on entry but was good off. Then later, at about lap 41, about 10 laps ago, he said the more the car goes, the more the back end gives up. The tail end loose for Tony Stewart. That's his problem.
Starting to see some of those green flag stop-start. Here's Bill Elliott in the 91 car, and I talked to a lot of the Dodge teams this morning. They felt like they were getting the worst of the fuel mileage of most of the cars. This is a scheduled 4-tire stop, Steve.
And Larry Mack, Bill Elliott, awesome Bill from Dawsonville, saying his car is very, very tight. They're going to make a track bar adjustment 2 rounds up on that 91 car. Chris Andrews, the crew chief on that automobile. 4 tires and a track bar adjustment.
Mike Wallace is in. Jeff Green and Jason Leffler have also already made their green flag stops. Leffler was in about 10 laps ago, a little bit early for the length of this run. There's the Morgan McClure car, the Lucas Oil machine for Mike Wallace. And he comes back out. Michael Waltrip has passed Joe Nemechek, moves him up into the top half dozen.
Car looks like it's pretty good. Michaels does on the long run, and that's what you want here today. Because I don't see any indication of any more caution flags. Things are pretty clean and lean right now.
I mean, looking at the back of Michael Waltrip's 15 car, you could see how much he could pick that throttle up and stay in it as he pulled away from those cars behind him, and he's pretty much still around the bottom of the racetrack.
Matt?
Mike, the big issue for Michael Waltrip, Tony Eury Jr.'s crew chief told me, he has to back off earlier than normal, where he would back off his point where he would get out of the throttle on entry into the corner because the car is so loose. But he is great from the center up off the corner, and you can see that on the video.
Thanks, Matt. Pit stops. Jamie McMurray is in. Greg Biffle is in, and Casey Kane. Dick?
Well, Biffle is in, and this pit stop had been planned for about 5 or 6 laps. They knew right when they wanted to bring him in. Biffle with a very good race car today. No major changes. He had been running in 3rd position prior to this pit stop. Never won here in the Cup Series, but he does have 1 Busch race. To Matt.
And the 9 of Casey Kane and 6 of Mark Martin on pit road. Look for a chassis adjustment for Kane. A little on the tight side. You can see the wrench going in the back window for Kane. Krushek and Odell hit the Lux on the left side as Mark Martin is in. Mark, car was pretty good. He said just a little on the loose side as the 9 is away. Mark Martin's service also complete.
Mayfield, Nemechek, Sadler, Elliott Sadler, along with Scott Riggs now on pit road, and the 50 of Jimmy Spencer. Jeannie?
Looking at the 01 of Joe Nemechek, he had a vibration in the car, guys. So he decided, he was going to wait a couple laps, but I might as well come in, get this taken care of, getting the fuel, getting the 4 tires, and they're going to free this car up just a little bit, and anxiously awaiting the arrival of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Dick?
Tony Stewart in his pit area. They have pulled the rubber out of the right rear. That hopefully will cure his chassis problems. Jody Fortson, hit by a tire last week, is on duty. To Steve.
Carl Edwards in the 99 said he was losing grip, especially when he got on the throttle. They'll put on 4 tires. They have dropped the air pressures on the left side for Carl Edwards. Long stop, having trouble getting it full. Matt?
No grip on the racetrack for the 12 of Ryan Newman. They made a wedge adjustment and tried to fix that tightness with an air pressure adjustment for Ryan Newman. Big weekend for owner Roger Penske. Yesterday, he scored his 250th win as a car owner in auto racing, when this Penske IRL cars finished 1-2. Helio Castro-Neves finished 2nd, and Sam Hornish took home the victory at Phoenix. Michael Waltrip, guys, up on the wall, waiting for the 15 car to come to a stop. He hits the signboard. You can see they're going to make a chassis adjustment. Wedge and track bar. Track bar already complete. Wedge already complete. Michael loose on entry. A solid stop so far, and he is down and away.
It'll be easier to give you the drivers who have not stopped. They are Jimmy Johnson, Dave Blaney, Dale Jarrett, and Ricky Rudd, Casey Mears, Kevin Harvick, Brian Vickers, and Sterling Marlin and Mike Bliss. So Bliss is in, Marlin's in. Here comes Johnson.
My big question, this is the first green flag stop we've been seeing at every race. Will these guys dodge the pit road speeding penalty that we've been seeing time and time again?
Jeannie and Jimmy Johnson's been.
Well, we have been talking all day about the Cup drivers involved in the Busch races, and that includes Jimmy Johnson. The big thing he took out